Well, it's that time of evening when we now go for some motivation and we find our good friend, Mr. Miguel Melbourne, to do such. Good evening, Miguel.
Hello, Erwin. Ira, good evening to you. And of course, Ira, good evening to our distinguished listeners wherever in the world you're tuning in from. We thank you. My name is Miguel Anthony Melbourne. And of course, at the top of this program, I'm feeling very excited. Now, I want to give out some thank yous. I want to say thank you to every guest that has been a guest of Melbourne Motivation. Of course, to the great Mr. Erwin, Claire, to Tamara, Jordan, Prezi. And that is because this episode would be the 50th staging of Melbourne Motivation, something I could not imagine a year ago. And so,
Where's the
thank you.
champion? Where's the champion?
All right.
Where's the champion?
The champion. I like that.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. So this week on Melbourne Motivation, my guest is Tristan Trowers, a dynamic young entrepreneur conquering the American dream one pie at a time. I'm going to tell you more. Tristan was born and raised in a Jamaican household in the Bronx, New York, a high school social worker by day, 24/7. He's a young serial entrepreneur. Tristan is owner of a graphic design company, Geotheories, as well as a sweet potato pie making company, TriesPies. Growing up, he's always had a hustler's ambition, from selling CDs and drinks on campus to organizing events and parties. Tristan notes, I'm not 100% sure where the hustle in me came from, but I'm glad I've got it. Community impact is also at the root of Tristan's mission. His TrisbrandNYC platform curates pop up shops that amplify the businesses of other entrepreneurs and creators. He's also part of the leadership team that is working to change a narrative for young black boys by offering the HIM Scholarship through the nonprofit organization. His interests are mine. And something I love about your story is that you have different businesses, but to me, it seems like you really have to be good at these things. You can't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to start a pie making company. So, Tris Pies, your sweet potato pie making company, Geotheories, your graphic design company. What is the story behind these businesses? How did you get into it?
So the funny speaking about my parents with geotheories, I was like the first, I guess, business venture, right? And growing up, I used to always say, yeah, I want to be a graphic designer. I got introduced to it in seventh grade, and my mother, she talked me out of it. The typical Jamaican, you want to be a doctor, lawyer, all of that. But it was something that I stood with, something that I found a lot of enjoyment in. And when I went to college, I started doing a lot of flyers for people, logos, all that type of stuff. And I started getting paid for it. So I said, I could really make some good money off of this. And, fast forward to a couple years later, that's when I said, okay, well, with the Tris Pies thing, in 2012, I just said, all right, yeah, I'm gonna bring some sweet potato pie to Thanksgiving dinner. And, it was just something I just decided to do randomly. And the whole family, everybody loved it. It tastes good. It tastes good. So it's like auntie so-and-so is bringing this, this person's bringing this, Tris is bringing the pie. And, I was doing that for a couple years. 2018, I remember I kind of came back, so to speak, posted on Instagram, DM me if you want your orders. And, it just went crazy after that. 2019 turned into an official business, and now we're here.
Wow. You- so everybody have a responsibility on Thanksgiving, and you took your responsibility and propelled it into a business. Are you kidding me? There's a whole lot of folks out there that says, "Wait a minute, my lasagna, my this, my that." No, that's an incredible story. But Tristan, what I really love about the story, and what you're telling, oftentimes I speak to high school kids, I speak to elementary kids, I speak to college kids, and I tell them that, listen, whatever that thing is you think you that you're passionate about, you have to identify that thing that you're good at, and that is what you want to turn into a business. And so you are a living testament that you can take your gifts and you can extract the value from it and offer it to the world to consume. So no, big congratulations there. Also, you're a social worker by day, right? Uplifting our next generation. But during the pandemic, you and some partners started the HIM Scholarship. Can you just give us some context there and how that came about?
Yeah, so two of my fraternity brothers, one of them is a school counselor, another one is a social worker like myself. This was actually right before the pandemic. Right before the pandemic, we decided to roll out with the scholarship because we were realizing that there were a lot of different opportunities for young girls and young women, but we didn't really see many for young boys. So we all work in the New York City Department of Education, so we pretty much geared it towards that. And both of us working in the more impoverished districts of the DOE. So we see we see the need in these schools, right? So we decided to come out with a scholarship where we'd be able to assist them, with finances, going to school, or, book money, whatever, they essentially wanted to use that money for. We were able to raise $6,000. We had a first, second, and third place prize. We had an essay portion. We also wanted to highlight the academic excellence. So it was a GPA requirement, to get this award. And, we went through like a whole trial. And then when we had the three winners, we had like a culminating event at Amarachi Lounge in Brooklyn. We had the winners come out, their friends, family, and we awarded them like big checks. And, pretty much all of our friends and family got to see what we were doing. We're getting all this money from people. We're donating, people donating. So it's like, okay, this is everything that we were doing it for. And we also have like a mentorship portion to that. So we didn't just say give them money and say, all right, congratulations. Like, we kept in contact with them while they were in school. And, just if they had any questions, needed help with anything, they would be able to connect with us. So, after the pandemic, that was when it kind of, took a hit after that because, everybody's money's tight and just different things we wanted to do in terms of certain events to raise money. We couldn't really do that. So that was one of the things that, kind of got hit with the pandemic, but definitely something that we're looking to start up again because it's a super dope initiative.
I love every part of your story because you can tell here's the problem, here's the solution, and it takes a certain character to have an idea and to pursue it, knowing there are uncertainties and there are sacrifices, but it seems like you have that thing to make it happen. So big congratulations for that. Listening audience, let's please stay on the lookout for that scholarship, right? But Tristan, as we wrap up, I think there's some young Tristans out there, people that have many ideas, but as I said, they're afraid to get started. What is the piece of advice that you would like to leave with our listeners who may have these ideas and have the gifts and have the talents, but they're afraid to get started? What would you like to say to them?
I mean, one thing I will always say is do it. Just do it, get started. It's like an essay. When you're writing an essay in school, the hardest part about the essay is starting. After you start it, sentences turn into paragraphs, paragraphs turn into pages, and then you're done. And when it comes to doing a business, it's like for me, I always say the worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work out. The best thing that can happen is that it does. You would never really know unless you actually do it. And a lot of times we have these ideas and you're not the only one. And in fact, a couple of days ago, a coworker of mine, she was telling me that she really loves coffee. And she was like, yeah, there's no coffee shops in my town. And she was telling me that someone else opened a coffee shop in the exact location she was considering and everything. And she was upset. And I said, yeah, somebody beat you to the park. So, you have an idea, you're thinking about doing something, just do it. There's tons of other people probably thinking the same thing. And the worst thing is that you could see somebody do what you wanted to do, and it's like, dang, I wish I did it sooner. So you have an idea, you have a passion, you're thinking about something, do it. Like I said, the worst thing that can happen is that it don't work out.
Worst thing that can happen is that it don't work out, but what if it does, right? And so I appreciate that. I appreciate that, King Tristan. You're definitely a change maker. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for having this meaningful conversation on Melbourne Motivation. Can you tell our listening audience where they can make a purchase of your products and services, and how can they follow your movement?
Absolutely. So everybody's on social media nowadays for the most part. So Instagram, TriesPies, Geotheories. You could check out my website, triespiesinc.com. You could order pies, candles. We ship, deliver, pick up. So yeah, all of those. That's how you could get in contact and place your orders.
Appreciate that, Tristan. Ladies and gentlemen, Patti LaBelle should not be the only one making all this money in the pie market. Tristan is coming to take over. We're gonna have some Caribbean influence. Tristan, I appreciate that. Erwin.
Can you imagine, Tris, if we start have some yellow yam pie and some
bread? I mean,
I mean,
It's Jamaicanized it. Come on, Tris, get creative. Congratulations, my friend, and good work. And to you, sir, we didn't realize it was 50. Otherwise, we'd have some, like I said, champagne
that's
and balloons
major.
and all that kind
Congratulations,
of stuff.
congratulations, man.
Congratulations, man.
I appreciate that. I didn't know either, man. I look up and it's 50, and it's just been a tremendous blessing. I call it's just God. Every week it's God, and so,
Amen.
shout out to
Amen.
everybody that's been a part of it. Shout out to all the guests that's to come, but, certainly to the Irie Jam family, the Bridge family. It's a blessing.
One love. And how do we remain in contact with yourself?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, my personal and professional goals are to help the youth be prepared for college, career, and beyond so that we can have more Tristans out there. Please visit pathwithapurposenyc.com. Use the code IRIE, IRIE, for a discount when purchasing our college study flashcards. Follow Melbourne Motivation on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You'll be able to watch this plus more. So until next time, I always say be safe and live with big energy. But I also want to say there are a lot of people out there going through stuff. And so for all my folks that's have lost someone recently, folks, I want you to just send out a random prayer. Just send it out there. There's powers in it. And so until next time.
All right, my friend. And to the next 50. One love, my friend.
All right.
All right. That
Thank
was
you for having me.
Miguel Melbourne with his guest there. 50 episodes so far. Can you imagine Tamar and Jordan? We're going with good things, big things, big things. Anyway, a few moments to go.